I don't know, just the things that you've seen from her, because obviously she's announced she's done with international play, right? And wants to chase a Walter Cup. Uh, Obviously, it doesn't seem like that's going to be in Boston. I feel like that, not to use a nautical term, but I feel like the ship has sailed in a way in that regard, considering that she's unprotected, right? I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, there's a possibility. Um, just yeah, any poetic you can wax about the Hilary Knight, because obviously this is going to be a big deal if this is something that comes to fruition. Obviously, again, it feels interesting covering this expansion draft because I'm just focused on Seattle, but also acknowledging that Vancouver is staking this as well.
Yeah, I mean Hilary Knight again, she's just a legend. And it's for good reason. She's one of the most decorated players to ever lace up the skates. She leads Team USA's scoring categories in the World Championships. Like she's just one of the best players to ever do it. She is a Hall of Famer. Um, to see her exposed again, it speaks to how wild this expansion draft is, that a player like that gets left up for grabs. If Seattle selects her, and I do think that there's a good chance that Seattle will look to get her in the signing window, because I imagine just with how highly she has spoken of Seattle, I mean, even I talked with her one-on-one back during the season, and I asked her like, what was your favorite takeover tour game, and she didn't hesitate very much to say Seattle. She loves the environment and the like how big of a women's sports city it is, and yeah, it's very clear that out of the two spots, she would prefer to go to Seattle. And if Turner's willing to sign her, I imagine she goes. And I don't know why Turner wouldn't be willing to sign her. Um, Both with the fleet connections, how high, like how much Turner emphasized, like, we want really good leaders in this room. We want a strong culture. And that's what I spoke with Knight about is how much she prioritized setting that for the fleet. She wants to make sure that it's a place that players want to come, where they're gonna have fun, they're gonna work hard, and they're gonna have success. Um, so there's really, out of everyone available, no better leader, in my opinion. Um, she's kind of the whole package. The only wrench in it is you really don't know how much longer she's going to play. Turner might. Um, there could have been like I imagine Turner was part of the exit interviews, and I do wonder because Knight has announced like the 2026 Olympics will be her last. And that didn't surprise anyone given she's 35. Um, but I wonder if she left the door open that she would continue to play in the PWHL beyond next season, but perhaps she's leaning more towards no, and that's why she was left exposed. Because I feel like if she had told Danielle Marmer that like she was going to be around 2, 3 more seasons, she'd be a lot more likely to keep her. But if it's just one more season, she will. I still think that she's going to be one of the first players taken in this draft, just because even if it is one season of Hilary Knight, she is well worth your pick. Name recognition alone, she will get people in the seats, especially in Seattle. Um, so I just think like if whoever gets her, but I assume it will be Seattle, is just getting one heck of a player, one heck of a person, and it's going to be a really good way to start the franchise, even if it means Fleet
Yeah.
fans hate him.
Hey, I mean, there's already a few Seattle Boston things. I
You gotta
mean,
have some hatred
you know,
somewhere.
see, unrelated to what we're talking about here. Like again, I followed Lydia for a bit, talking to Lydia, like learning writer to writer. I'm like, this is awesome. Like just hearing how she operates. It's like that stupid joke. I'm a big fan of how you operate. That's how I feel about learning about Lydia lately as we get to do this. So, but yeah, I mean, that is something that's interesting to take into consideration because I think one of the big things, and I think I mentioned it to you 2 days ago, um, with this expansion draft, I kind of likened with Hilary Knight, Megan Rapinoe, lately the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, the Reign have been involved in a few expansion drafts as that league has grown. With the California teams that they've added in the last few years. And Megan Rapinoe and some of their originals were left unprotected. And I said, oh shit. Because obviously, I mean, they're older players, right? But they're still massive contributors to the club. Even this year, just Fishlock and Lou Barnes are still massive contributors, even though Lou Barnes has played the most minutes in the league's history. Just Fishlock's one of the most legendary women's players of all time, and she's most likely going to retire after this season. Um, so I thought it was like a Megan Rapinoe thing where the understanding was, hey, she's playing a few years like after this, like, and she doesn't want to leave Seattle. Like, that's what I've kind of thought maybe because again, you hear all these great things as you mentioned, the way that Hilary Knight's talked about Seattle, and obviously it's very exciting. You see the possibility that she's exposed, and but you do like it is a little not sobering, but kind of hit with reality. Hey, maybe it is as you mentioned, one season, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so that's where I thought it might be, but and yeah, I don't know when we'll know about that. It's like I don't know when Hillary would come out and say, "Hey, I'm doing this," because does she like maybe she doesn't know, right?
That's the sense I was getting because again, like she announced her Olympic retirement well in advance because she knew for sure. She's not someone who likes a lot of questions about herself. She'll deflect them as much as she can. So I truly don't think she knows at this moment, but I assume she's leaning in one direction, and that's probably what she told GM Danielle Marmer or anyone. Like she's got to be leaning one way or the other, but just doesn't want to make that official decision. I do wonder if expansion will make that decision for her. Um, you know, it's tough because like you bring up Megan Rapinoe, and there could be an element of that too. There could be like the teams leave her be in Boston because she is Hilary Knight. She should finish where she chose to, but at the same time, where she does love Seattle, that's closer to her family. It's not necessarily a bad thing for her to go to Seattle. I don't think she'd be mad about it, even though I know she didn't ask for it. I was able to confirm that because that was a question. I'm like, did she want to go? Like, no. Um, but I think she would be understanding of the situation. Um, but it's tough because like a big reason why I spoke to her one-on-one is I wanted to talk to her about the difference between this season and last because she did struggle in the inaugural year. Part of that was an injury, part of that was the pressure she felt trying to set the course for this franchise, knowing that she was one of the faces of the league. And she took so much on herself to make sure that everything went perfectly. When it didn't, it put a lot of pressure on her. And so now she's gonna go, if she gets selected, she's gonna go do that again. I don't, it's a tough situation no matter how you slice it, but I do ultimately think she would be selected.
Yeah, and that comes back to not necessarily a sobering reality, but the fact that it's exciting and the possibility of it is exciting. But there could be challenges, as you mentioned, right? I mean, certainly you want to talk about as Megan Turner mentioned, leadership and establishing that. It's a great way to do it. I don't know how many other leaders you're going to find out there in this situation that would be better. Um, yeah, I mean it's something to talk about. It's something to because that is reality. There's not a lot of guarantees with her situation right now, right? So I mean, still exciting, but
Yeah.
certainly more to think about than just, hey, she's on the team now. Like
Yeah, it's a
there will
very
be questions.
layered thing. Um, I don't envy anyone making any of these decisions. I'm glad I just have to talk about them.